Should you file for divorce in your new state or the one that you just left before you moved? It's a great question. My name is Goldman. I'm the director and founder of Goldman and Associates. Our firm has a primary focus on family law issues here in Michigan, and today we're going to continue our video series designed to educate and inform the public, so please subscribe to our channel. This, I suppose, comes more in the nature of educating the public than informing, in that when we talk about where you should file, it's common that those are issues dictated by statute. For example, in the state of Michigan, where we are, in order to file for divorce, you have to be a resident of the state of Michigan for at least 180 days prior to filing, and in the county where you filed, at least 10 days. So that means if you move in January from Michigan and you go to New York and decide I'm getting divorced, it's February, where you got to file, odds are you're going to have to file that back in Michigan, because you're a resident of the state of Michigan. In New York, if they have residency requirements just like Michigan, which is a fairly common requirement, you got to be there for a certain amount of time. And in the 1 month that you were there, it's unlikely that that state is going to exercise jurisdiction over you. The reason why the states don't do that is they don't want people to forum shop. Forum shop means you move to one place in order to use that court. You want to use that forum. So they don't allow people to do that. So that's why we have residency requirements. We don't, for example, because it's a no-fault divorce state, we don't want people moving from one state, coming here for a few weeks, and then filing for divorce here in Michigan just because they're a terrible person, but we're a no-fault divorce state, so they get to use our laws. It doesn't work that way. Here, if you want to file, you got to be here for a certain amount of time. Other states have the same rules. Are there exceptions? Sometimes there's emergency jurisdiction in the case of a dramatic spousal abuse or something like that, where you can get protections and all that. But for the most part, in the general concept, if you want to file for divorce in your new place, you got to make sure that you met those courts' residency requirements. And how are you going to know what they are? Well, you're going to call a local lawyer. And you're going to tell them, I moved here. It's February 1st. I moved here January 15th. Am I allowed to file for divorce here? They're going to ask you a bunch of questions. They're going to tell you what the residency rules are. And you may find that the answer is, no, you got to file back in Michigan. Now, is that a problem? Is that a big deal? No, it's not a big deal. Our firm here, we are literally hired from all over the country, if not all over the world, to handle matters in Michigan for people who live all over the place. In this day and age, it's really not that big a deal. As a matter of fact, you may find that in the example that I gave, where somebody moves to, let's say, Manhattan, New York, they may find it very advantageous to file in Michigan because you're paying Midwest prices and not New York City prices for the same service. There may be a considerable savings of money if you can file in Michigan. But the bottom line is, it's going to be jurisdiction based. So these rules are going to be based on what the laws are in that place. You're going to have to find out what those rules are, and you may find that you have to stay there and wait. If you really want to file in your new place because you feel it's more convenient for you, you don't want to have to travel back to the other place for court proceedings, and maybe they're by Zoom and maybe they're not. So you don't want to avoid that. Therefore, you want to file in the place where you live. Expect a lawyer to might tell you, hey, you're going to have to wait 90 days. You're going to have to wait 180 days, whatever the jurisdiction is, in order to do this. So keep things the status quo. Don't say boo about it. And hopefully the other side won't file in Michigan and serve you in New York, because if that happens, then you're dealing with Michigan anyway. If you have any questions about your particular case, though, reach out and we'll be glad to help you out.